Hi, we're here with Roofing with Josh to talk to you about what to look for when replacing your roof before listing your property, and what does it look like from start to finish to hire a roofing contractor to come out and put a new roof on. And being in Florida, we are here to talk to you about what does it look like when it rains and how does that affect putting on a new roof.
Yeah, there's a lot to go over when it comes to roofs and selling a house, and also getting them insured. So I'm happy to go over it with you. Pretty much everything that comes back on a 4-point, we can give you a solid answer to tell you whether or not that actually needs to be replaced. So follow along. All right, so we're out here on this project, and one of the key indicators that this roof actually needed a full replacement was that there were several leaks. If you just have one leak, a lot of times if the shingles are still in good repair, we can actually come over and fix that. But unfortunately for this roof, there was a common trend of failure all along the roof. So it was time. Plus it was 22 years old. So that's just one thing to keep in mind when you're replacing your roof. So the second thing that kind of indicated that this roof needed to be replaced was the flat roof area. They did not use an approved product for that specific area. So we needed to come back and be able to install the modified bitumen that is on this roof. That being said, look at the workmanship. Sometimes the workmanship is the cause for the leaks, and a lot of times it just causes premature failure. But keep that in mind whenever you're buying or selling a house and you need something on the roof looked at. So another thing that you want to keep in mind is the degranulation, and a lot of contributing factors can be a part of this. So one thing, insulation. So if you have a spray foam deck in your attic that is fantastic insulation, the unfortunate part of that, it will age your shingles so much quicker than normal insulation. So if you're looking at a shingle roof that looks like it's 25 years old, but it's actually only 10, very likely that attic deck underneath is covered in spray foam insulation, trapping that heat in there. So it's very likely that you may have to replace that roof a lot sooner than anticipated. Lastly, but obviously not all of them, but age. Age is such a significant factor when it comes to roofing. Obviously, your insurance company is kind of going to be on you about the condition and the age of that roof, but that's not always the case. Clearly down here in Florida, these things age a little bit faster, but if you have got a good solid roofing system up there, it is meant to last. So just be sure that if your roof doesn't look very old, but it might be that age and they're giving you a hard time, give us a call. We'll be able to help you through that. You may not actually have to replace that roof.
So now that we know what to look out for when determining if we need to replace our roof, now let's go over what does it look like start to finish to have a roofer come out and put a new roof on your house before listing your property.
I know we make it look easy, but it's really not us that makes it look easy. It's the fact that the realtors do most of the job. But what that process consists of is getting all of the paperwork signed, and one of those things is the contract. We've got to pick out colors, we've got to pick out all the materials for that roof, submit that to production, but another key process in that is the permitting. So we've got to get the notice of commencement signed, we've got to submit that application and get that pulled. And I've got a designated team in the office that takes care of all that, but unfortunately, it's not a perfect and clean process. Some cities and some counties require certain amount of time, and they've got a minimum on that. So it's not an overnight thing. Also, the same thing goes with our suppliers. If our suppliers take a little bit longer on a delivery because it's a certain product, they've got to place that order for them, and it's not readily available. So that being said, there's a lot of front end work before it makes it to production. But once it makes it to production, we'll get you on schedule. We'll get that roof done, because once the guys are on the roof, that's when we're quick. This job right here is about to take one day, and we're going to be completely finished. Then we're going to have final inspection set up for tomorrow and completely closed out.
So on top of permitting and everything else that can cause it to take a little longer to get the roof on, let's talk about weather. I know weather is a huge aspect here in Florida when putting on a roof.
Yeah, one of the most frustrating things is whenever we've got a roof torn off and suddenly the storm clouds appear. This has happened, it's happened to every roofer. So we plan ahead. We've got guys sitting there watching the weather, and we will not tear off a roof if we know that there's inclement weather coming in, because we don't like to replace drywall. So keep in mind that those dates that we give are typically tentative. And if we've got a few days that are rain, it's gonna push back an entire schedule. Unfortunately, it happens, but that's the state that we live in. and that's also just a part of roofing.
So if rain is coming, Josh, and you guys have your crew on the roof, what is it you guys do as the rain is approaching?
If the rain is approaching, a lot of times what we'll do is we actually try and plan even farther ahead of that and don't actually schedule that roof for that day. But if we've got that roof torn off and we know that rain is coming later that afternoon, we do the roof in segments. So like, let's take this house for instance. If we knew that rain was coming in at, let's say 2 o'clock, then we would have this front section torn off and we would dry in that before tearing off in the back sections. So this entire roof would be able to withstand the rain. Yeah, so that's how you got to do roofs here in Florida. Unfortunately, it rains in the afternoon just about every day.
So if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'm happy to get you in touch with Roofing with Josh and get your roof looked at. Or if you're thinking about listing your property, let's get it on the market.